Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Painful underscore Purpose, and welcome to all of you that are just joining for the first time. I hope you'll be blessed by what I have in store for you today. And guys, it is another testimony video, so I hope you guys will enjoy and be blessed by this testimony that I have for you. And now this is my story.
Hi guys, I'm Sherena from Preston SDA Church, where I met Chelsea a few years ago. But I am going to ask you guys to, those who haven't already, to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell again and select all so that you can be notified when Chelsea uploads something new. And then you can go over to her Instagram account, painful underscore purpose, as well. And if you follow the page as well. Thanks. I am going to begin by reading scripture in Isaiah 65, verse 24, which says, "It shall come to pass that before they call, I, being God, will answer. And while they are still speaking, I will hear." Now, that verse will become a bit more obvious in the latter part of this testimonial. To begin my testimony, it's this part of my testimony, I'm going to start off in 2015, October 30th, 2015, when I sat down in front of my consultant, or a consultant at the time, to be diagnosed with spinocerebellar ataxia 3. That's also known as SCA3, aka Mashoda-Joseph's disease. And it's called Mashoda-Joseph's disease for various amount of reasons, none of which are relevant to this point anyway, to my testimony. And if you Google the condition, you will come up with a myriad of symptoms, and it's a lifestyle condition, autoimmune condition, which is mainly affected by anybody's lifestyle. So the way it affects me is going to be different to the way how it affects my brother, the way how it affected my dad, because it is hereditary, and I got it from my dad. Anyway, I got it from my father, who passed it on to me and my brother, my two older brothers, and myself. But I was diagnosed with this condition in 2015, and when I got diagnosed, I didn't really think much of it, because the reason why I got tested was because I thought that I had the condition, and I was prompted to get tested on the off chance that I might have it, so to best make myself aware of the situation by somebody who was close to me at the time. I had been showing symptoms for a few years beforehand, but I don't know, I just hadn't registered the thought that I might have this condition. So yeah, I was, a few years before I got diagnosed, I was baptized in 2013, and then in 2014 I became a vegetarian, and then in 2015 I was diagnosed. So it was an avalanche effect, basically. But I mentioned the fact that I was baptized beforehand, and that verse comes into play, because if it wasn't for the fact that I was living a healthy lifestyle, as well as my dependence upon God, then this could have gone a completely other direction. It could have affected me a lot worse, and I could be in a wheelchair. I'm not saying that I won't ever be in a wheelchair, but the route to me getting there is a little longer than it would have been if I hadn't been so healthy, if I hadn't chosen to eat healthy, if I hadn't chosen to become more active, etc., etc., etc. But the way how the condition affects me is that it affects my balance and my coordination while I'm walking. So basically, it affects it. Basically, it's killing the cerebellum, which is in the back of my brain cells. The cells that didn't make any sense. Anyway, the way how the condition works is that in my cerebellum, the brain cells in my cerebellum are dying slowly. So as they're dying slowly, it affects my coordination because the cerebellum is responsible for your coordination, for your balance, and so forth. But through the condition, I I suffer a lot of physical pain, and I've actually found out that I'm hypermobile. Not through that's any good thing to talk about because I'm hypermobile means that my knee hyperextends, which means that my knee bends back every time I take a step. So my right knee in particular, so instead of going like this, it literally goes back or even back. That's better. Yeah, it goes. So my knee goes back instead of just going like that. And every time I take a step, it hurts. I'm in agony and I can hear it clicking. So I don't know if it's the pain that frustrates me more or the fact that I can feel it grating on my nerves. But I've got a high pain tolerance. Discomfort though, I can't deal with it. But so it affects more. So the condition mainly affects my walking in that I'm now using walking stick pretty much all not all of the time except for when I'm in the house, and that's because I furniture surf. And furniture surfing is when you grab different pieces of furniture as you go through where you're walking through your house or whatever, just to make sure that you don't fall over. So I've only fallen over, well, I've only fallen over once outside, but inside I always fall over. I always make sure that there's something at the back of me, or if I fall forward, that I manage to use my hands and just brace myself. Or there have been a few near misses where I've nearly fallen down the stairs. Now those I nearly had a heart attack because I was just like, if I fall headfirst down these stairs, there's no guarantee that I'll be coming back from this fall. So yeah, so I grab onto the banister and I end up throwing my whole body down the stairs, and I end up landing into a wall, bouncing back off the wall, and sitting down on the stairs. So by the grace of God and only God alone, I have been protected thus far. But yeah, there are times when I don't get any sleep. Well, not times when I don't get any sleep. Basically, it affects my REM sleep, so I don't get to the REM stage of sleep at all. So although I may be lying still, I'm still aware of everything that's going on around me. So if a door creaks, or if something opens, or if a dog barks outside, then I know it was happening. So I'm always tired. And the ironic thing is that the more tired I get, the worse my symptoms are. So when I get extremely tired, I shouldn't even be standing, walking, getting out of bed. But then I always feel guilty about the fact that there are things that I need to, like I'm self-employed now. So there are times when I've got work to do and I'm just like I can't function to get out of bed. Like by the time I drag myself to go downstairs and sit in front of my computer, I'm spending the whole day going like this, trying to just like wake myself up, trying to just like wake up, wake up, wake up. And it just feels like I'm just wasting time. Like God is just telling me just go back to bed, but the guilt of not doing something when I know that I should be doing it is too much for me. So that's another issue that I need to tackle. that me and God need to work out. But yeah, so I've covered the balance, the tiredness, the fact that I'm in pain, my knee, my ankles and my hands are always cold. Like even in summer, well, say summer, but even when we were having the heat wave the other week and it was like 30 odd degrees, 27 degrees in Preston, and I was like, I can't breathe for the heat. I can't breathe for the heat. But I'm still wearing thick fluffy socks like I'm wearing now. Gotta love me and my thick fluffy socks. And I've got a heated blanket that I put on one for at least half an hour before I come to bed. And that was still happening even during the heat wave, guys. I can't go to sleep without a duvet being on top of me because I need to feel heat. I need to feel warmth because my knees get so cold and my ankles are like ice, to be honest. So yeah, bad circulation, knee problems, can't really walk. Going down the stairs is a chore, and coming back up and going back down and coming back up, which happens quite a lot because that's something else. It gives me brain fog as well. Like I can get up and I'll be like, yeah, I'm ready for this day. Yeah, I've got loads of energy. Yeah, I've done my devotional. Yeah, I've spent time with God. And then it gets to 1 o'clock and I'm just like, this haze just descends over me and I'm just like, I can't do anything. I can't function. I don't even know who I am anymore. I just forget everything and I'm just like, yeah, I pretty much, my brain goes floppy and then I can't do anything. I suffer with depression, but that's because of the condition as well as other things. And when I was diagnosed, I didn't realize this until I started speaking to a counselor about other things as well as this. That when I was diagnosed, it was a trauma when I was diagnosed because even though I thought that I processed it and that I dealt with it and that I'd um I'd accepted it, I hadn't really accepted it because I hadn't really seen what the future would hold for me, what my future would look like. So the depression, sorry, I keep having to count down, but I need to make sure I've covered everything. The depression, the coordination, the knee problem, the warmth, lack of um, the pain, anything else, the tiredness, the no sleeping. Oh, so much, so much. But the thing is, I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago that I stopped praying for healing from the condition because I didn't see the point. I was like, okay, this is hereditary. There's nothing that anybody can do. So that's that. I'm just gonna have to just go on, press forward, and just hope for the best and hope that it doesn't hit me the 20-year mark that I've been prescribed, that I've been diagnosed with. Like everything that I read and every consultant told me that 20 years after you've been diagnosed, you pretty much die. So yeah, I'm trying to fight that one as well, to be honest. But I've realized that I'm trying to do things in my own stead. Like I'm coming to conclusions on my own. I'm not really giving God a chance. I'm just like, well, before God disappoints me, I'm just going to get ahead of God. I'm just going to be like, oh, I've accepted it. Oh, I've dealt with it. Oh, I've processed it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I've done this. I've done that. But then I'm realizing now that I'm trying to be God. I need to stop being God and let God be God because He was the one who spoke into me about getting baptized in the first place. And if I hadn't been baptized when before I'd been diagnosed, then there's no way that I would be alive today. I wouldn't have made it. I couldn't have made. I am not strong enough to deal with this condition on my own. God has blessed me with a mother who supports me so much. And I have got so many friends who speak life into me at every single stage of this condition. I've got people like Chelsea, people like Natalie, people like Laura, so many people from church who are always just like, who don't see the condition. And that's my greatest fear of people just being able just to see the condition and not see me and not see that there's actually somebody underneath. And I'm just like, I'm so worried that people are going to start looking at me and just seeing the walking stick and seeing the fact that, oh, she's so young, oh, she shouldn't be like this, oh, she should be, sure, I'm sure she would be married if she wasn't like this. And the funny thing is, I never wanted to get married, nor have I ever wanted kids. But then, when so many people keep saying to you, oh, well, buck up and, well, maybe you would have wanted kids anyway, and it's just like, it's like they make it concessions for something that I never wanted in the first place. Even before I was diagnosed, I never wanted kids. I love my nieces and nephews, but the fact is, they're my nieces and nephews, so I can give them back. But kids, you've got to raise them, you're in charge of them, you're responsible for them for 18 years, and then even after 18 years, which I'm pointing cases because I came back home when I was 28, 2 years before I was diagnosed. So it's like I can never really get rid of kids. Sorry, parents. But I'm just, I've got, the other day, one of my closest friends came up from London and she came to see me and she was sat in my room and we were talking for ages. And she reminded me of something that I need, that we had so many good memories together going out. This was before I was baptized, mark you, as well as after. But before I was baptized, when we went out, we went during my undergraduate days, and we had so many good memories of times when I went down to see her in London or when she moved to London. And it was just like she was saying that she's grateful for those memories because now the things that I can't do are things that I did back then. So, and it's always like, even one of the elders of my church, Elder Jabal, always reminds me about when we ran 5K for ADRA with Danny Holder around Moore Park, and he keeps reminding me of that. I guess to keep me holding on and to give me hope of the fact that I actually ran 5K around Moore Park. I ran 5K, and I can't run to my door, to be honest. My door is just over there to the leaves, and I can't even run that far anymore, let alone say run 5K. But at least I have the memory, and I am just so grateful to God for what He has done, because if He hadn't prompted me to get baptized in the first place, to keep nagging me, and everybody knows how much I hate nagging. Like, you can tell me something once, and if I don't do it, then pretty much believe that I'm not going to. But God never gave up on me. God doesn't give up on anyone. And it says in Ministry of Healing, in this version, it's on page 58. Do not wait to feel that you are made whole. Believe the Saviour's words. Put your will on the side of Christ. Will to serve Him, and in acting upon His word, you will receive strength. That is just to say, like, I had given up hope on being healed physically of anything, but it's like the persistent widow. I just need to keep praying and praying and believe, not just praying, not just asking, but also believing that I can be healed, that there will be a day when I don't, it might be next week, might be next year, might be a few years from now, or like the Hebrew boy said, that I serve a God who can heal me, who, and even if he doesn't heal me, I will still serve him. It doesn't make any difference, much difference to me whether I'm healed or he's not, because it doesn't change the person who I am, who I've become through the power of Christ in me. And I pray and hope that whoever's watching this will also be will also remember that Christ loves me and he loves you. Christ created me and he created you. Christ, he can make something out of nothing. He can make beautiful what we see as ugly. He can give us beauty in exchange for our ashes. So just believe that even though you're going through whatever it is you're going through, this might just be for a season. Or if it isn't for a season, still serve him, still trust him, and always keep praying and asking in faith and believing in faith that it is a yes. And that is my testimony.
Wow, Sherena, that was a powerful testimony, and I can imagine that you guys will agree with me. Thank you so much for sharing. It couldn't have been easy. You're still going through it, so it's a difficult one. But yeah, whoa, I'm speechless. I was actually very teary when I was watching that. I was like, wow, she's such. If you meet Sherena in person, she is such a powerful, God-fearing woman. She's so strong as well. She's always smiling, like she cracks a few jokes in there too, which I love. And she just inspires me all the time. She is actually an inspiration to me, and I truly do look up to her, knowing that she's going through all of this, always praising God. And well, as you guys just saw, like I'm speechless. I actually am. But yeah, and it's actually funny how this testimony came together, because I was asking God for testimonies. I was like, God, can you bring people that have been encouraged by what you've been doing through me, to bring testimonies? And then the first name that came into my head was Sherena's. And I was like, God, but I kind of don't want to ask people, because I don't want to feel like I'm forcing anyone. I know how difficult it is for me to share my testimony. So to ask other people to share it, and they may be not so comfortable in doing so, kind of don't want to feel like that. But God said, no, just ask her. So I asked Sherena, and then this is the funny part. She was like, God actually told me that I should do a testimony on your channel. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, wow, God is already speaking my business. Like, God is amazing, and no one can tell me that was a coincidence. And that in itself was a testimony. I asked for something and God provided in the beautiful form of Sherena's testimony. So I'm so thankful. Sorry guys if you can hear that in the background. My neighbours are clearing out their garden. But yeah, so I'm just so thankful to you, Sherena, for sharing. Your testimony has truly and honestly touched me, continues to touch me. Like, her faith in God is amazing. And she said she wasn't untruthful about things. She said, there's still stuff that I'm sorting out with God, but that's the amazing thing, that she's sorting it out with God. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do too. It's just, if you have an issue, if you have a problem, it's not always going to be perfect, but when you're doing it with God, it makes it so much easier. So I pray that you guys were blessed, and thank you once again, Sherena. And also, as I said before, this is a continuous testimony, just like Olivia's one was. So I encourage you, please, can you pray for Sherena and this condition that she has, so that, because I know that prayer is powerful. It's our way of communicating with God, and to pray for other people is such a blessing, and God can do and work miracles in people's lives just by your prayers. So please pray for Sherena. Sherena, I'm always praying for you, and I can just see what God is doing through even your struggles. So I hope you guys were blessed, and please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can be updated on my next vlog video. Bye guys.